Hello! Welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today we are going to be wishing happy April birthday to all the April birthdays. We have some Arieses and some Tauruses. I am using the very pretty rune cloth that I have. There's a picture of Yggdrasil and Hugin and Munin. I'm going to be using this because the runes that I'm going to be using are the rose quartz runes to give a nice reading for the April birthdays, because April is of course named after Aphrodite, and Aphrodite is the goddess of love in the Greek tradition, and rose quartz has to do with love. So let's get started. So this is going to be basically a reading for the year. The thing about runes is that when you do a rune reading, the thing about actually a lot of divination things is that runes don't measure time. Things like this don't measure time in calendars and clocks. They measure time in events. That having been said, when I use a full Futhark spread, that tends to be about a year. So ideal for birthday readings. Let's get started. So I'm going to start by throwing down a few runes, about 5 runes, to show you what your central issue currently is, what led up to it, what isn't helping, what is helping, and what your next step on the path is going to be. Okay. So your central issue at this point is represented by Othala. Othala is the rune of the home and the homeland. Sometimes has to do with inheritance, but really just sort of a question right now about home. What you feel of as home. It would be like your comfort zone, but also just your feeling of home is your central issue. Leading up to this is Nauthiz. It's the rune of need. It's like the 2 sticks you use to make fire. So there's been a point recently where you have felt very much more in need than your focus has been turned on tending your needs, basically, which leads you up to thinking about home and your home. So what helps at this point, at this stage? I'm going to lay down a couple more runes to clarify this, but we have Ansu's reversed. Ansu's is the rune of communication and manifestation, and I've just added Avaz. Avaz is the rune of the horse, and that's movement and spirit. So what's going to help is, so 2 things. 1, listen to your inner voice, your inner communication. That's going to help you a lot. Just to tap into that. And the reason when you turn in and you tap into that inner communication, you're going to also tap into your inner spirit. This is Avaz, the rune of the horse, and the spirit. It is reversed, but it's on the upper line. So I'm going to say inner spirit, but I'm also going to say this is a reminder that this is an inner journey that you're doing that's going to help you with this very open and upright journey of finding your sense of home. So tap into that. Tap into your inner spirit. Have a moment, turn inward, be still, and let that voice speak to you. What won't help is you've been through quite a lot of, tending your needs. It looks like things have felt a bit difficult. So what isn't helping is this feeling that everything is a challenge. This is Thurizaz, it's the rune of the challenge. It's the rune of the thorn, the giant, gateway, a doorway. It is open, so it's a challenge that you can accomplish without too much struggle, but it's still a challenge, and it feels like, it's stressful the way that any challenge would be. We have under that the rune of riding, which is the rune of the journey. It's ride though, and it is reversed. So you're worried about a journey that had ended, or you're worried about your journey not being able to go forward through this threshold. But you're already there. You're working on this. This is something you are definitely working on. So if that starts to drag you down, bring yourself back up to where you're tapping into your inner voice, being still, letting your spirit speak, basically. So your next step on the path line is represented by Gabo. Gabo is the rune of the gift. Gift is always an exchange, so it's the rune of the exchange. It's also decisions and agreements. So I'm just laying down a few more runes around that to take us forward. So what helps here is you're really standing up on your own right now. This is Algies. It's the rune of the elk. It has to do with protection and support. It is reversed, but it's on the upper line, so it is what's helping you. I read that as self-support. You're taking care of yourself, and you trust that you can take care of yourself, which is very good. And this is because, especially if you've done this work of turning inward and tapping into your inner voice and your inner spirit, you're going to feel much more comfortable amid humanity. This is Mana as the Rune of Humanity, than you maybe did before. You're feeling very much more comfortable in your own skin, on your own feet. And that's what's going to help you at this stage where you're making decisions of what you want to do and where you want to go. What doesn't help is you're still going to struggle with feelings of, maybe I don't have, well, I'm going to read this two ways. This is Fehu. Fehu is the Rune of Wealth and Worth. It is reversed, but it's on lower lines. So mostly I'm going to read this as worries about, but there may also be a physical component. So what isn't helping you at this point is you may not feel up to the worthiness that you actually, when you tune into it, you do feel worthy. You do feel stronger and confident. You might also not have the funds, or worry about not having the actual physical funds that you need to go forward. But you are able to support yourself. So I would really read this more as a worry about. Additionally, we have Tivaz, and Tivaz is on the lowest line. Tivaz is Tears Rune. Tears, the warrior god, has to do with pick up and going and taking care of your responsibilities and duties. So you may feel that you had duties and responsibilities that you are no longer attending to, which no longer apply to your new life. And this may make you struggle with feelings about your worth. But once again, you are confident, you are able to support yourself, and you do feel comfortable in the world. So try not to let this drag you down. It really does look like just worries. But I mean, worries, it's like, if it's like that cartoon with, it's a made up problem, but it's real anxiety. So try not to let it drag you down too much. You do have this. You're very good. You're very able to support yourself. And this will actually lead to a real breakthrough. This is Dagaz. It's the Rune of the Dawn, the breaking through of the day. And it's a real breakthrough on your path once you've made this decision to move forward with this. What is going to help is shown by Isa. Isa is the Rune of Ice, standstill and clarity. You are actually going to have a lot of clarity with this, which is good. It's also saying things might stop at this point, and they might feel like they've stopped moving forward at this point. But it's sort of like a winter. You've made this decision, you've had this big breakthrough. What helps is, okay, stop. Like, if things have stopped, then accept a stop. If things haven't stopped, then take a moment. Stop what you're doing. You are continuing. It's going to feel like it's stopped, but things are still continuing. We have Ivaz, which is the Yew Tree Rune. It means you are patiently and slowly carrying forward. You are continuing to develop and move forward. Even if it feels like everything's stopped. Even if you stop, things keep moving forward. So that's, even though you've had this sudden revelation about what you're doing and where you're going, take a moment, breathe, feel things moving even though you're taking a moment, and this will actually carry you forward as well. What doesn't help at this point is we have Berkana reversed and we have Vunyo reversed. Berkana is the Rune of the birch tree, birth, beginnings, sort of yin identity. It is reversed on the lower line. You may have feelings that you have gone against what, I don't want to say family wanted of you, and that might bring you anxiety, but sort of what you were sort of before, from the before time. You also may be worried that the beginning that you started with is different from what you started with. You may be worried that this is like an ending. Also, you're concerned about your happiness, obviously. You're concerned that you won't be happy with where you're going. This is Vunyo, it's the Rune of Joy, and it is reversed on the lower line. Again, I really see this more as worries about these things, not actually what's happened. But you will struggle with it, otherwise they wouldn't be there. So especially if these start to drag you down, bring yourself back up here to where you're taking a moment, you're having a moment of stillness and clarity, and feeling that things are moving forward even when they don't seem to be. And what this brings you up to is what I'm going to read as the last rune in the spread, which is Laguz reversed. Laguz is the rune of heart. It's the lake. So it's all the emotional and intuition and things, and it is reversed. So this is actually going to bring you to a state where you're going to be very much in connection with your inner heart, but also you're not going to be swayed so much by emotionality, even though what's helping you is things are relatively chaotic, especially from what you're used to. This is Hagalaz, it's the Hailstorm Rune. Has to do with chaos, natural forces, like a big storm. Things are stormy all around you, and that's actually, you're okay with that, because after you've come through all of this and developed your confidence and developed your self-support and feeling comfortable with who you are, it's like, yeah, bring it on. I can face this. This actually is really good, and I am in touch with my inner heart and my emotions and my dreams even. Often Lagos has to do with dream. What doesn't help is continuing along with this, where you're worried about an ending to where your beginning has been, where your new beginning has been turned around, and also that things have ended. You're worried about that your options may have narrowed. You're worried that you might not have the focus that you need as well. Try not to worry about that. Bring yourself back up to, you are basically one with the natural forces at this point. You're able to relax within them, which is such a good skill. I mean, many people don't get that far, and you are going to get that far within this year. This is actually, it's going to be a bit of a test where you're looking for home, but you're going to find basically your home in yourself, which is great. So wishing you all the best. Happy birthday, April birthday people. I hope this was a nice present for you. And I wish you all the best. I will see you again next time. Take care. Bye.